Shilpa. I think thank you for giving us this opportunity to talk to you. Right, I've been trying to reach out to many people, but I think first I want to reach out to you. I've been following you on LinkedIn since long. I've read your book; it's amazing. But I wanted to, help others to understand what exactly the game-changing career we're talking about. And I think if you would like to introduce yourself and a little bit information about what is game-changing career, and then we talk about some other questions. But I just want to give you time to introduce yourself.
Sure. So game changing coach, that is a that is a term I coined while I was going through my own journey of coaching people. When you go on LinkedIn, you see different kind of coaches. You see a career coach, you see a leadership coach, life coach, happiness coach, different kinds of coaches. It is flooded with that. And I always feel like if I'm working with somebody, I cannot just compartmentalize between their life and their career. It's just one person, and that whole person, his or her game has to be uplifted from where they stand today to where they want to go. So I help people fill the gap between where they are today and where they would love to be in terms of their life, plus career, plus happiness, whatever you take. I just cannot ignore and I cannot leave people if they have come to my coaching with any sore point in their life, because I know a sore point feeds into our career in ways that we cannot even imagine. So that's why I love to stick with this term game changing coach and changing the game of people in a very short period of time. That is what I believe.
Cool. And when it all started, like how did this journey started of being a coach, right?
Yeah. So I was in the corporate usual corporate job. I am from an education background. My dad, he was a professor. My mom was a principal in a school. So a lot of emphasis was on study well and you are set for life. And I thought I literally followed it blindly, step by step. So I ended up having five pretty good professional degrees: CA, CPA, law graduate, double postgraduate. I did MBA as well, and I thought I was set for success according to what I had heard, the way I had been conditioned. And it started off well, but uh, soon, even though initially in my career I came to be known as the one with a Midas touch, that's what people called me, and I was soaking in all those nice vibes and the results that I was creating. And I kept walking, keep walking down the career path. And somewhere 10 years down the journey, I started putting in my bare minimum. A lot of things happen in your life. You get married, you've got kids, and then multiple crises, you're shifting places, you're shifting jobs. I didn't realize, but somewhere I became part of the mediocre game. And I stayed in that illusion that I'm still that person who used to get outstanding ratings, was the school topper, national level ranker, all those things. Um, I would not have ever realized it until 2018 when my company said, enough of it, Shilpa, we don't need you anymore. Enough of
Oh,
your non-glamorous contribution. And that is where I realized, it was a big slap in my face, because every day when I entered that big 32 floor building of Westpac at Barangaroo waterfront building, I used to feel small, and I kept shoving that thought away. I did know that I'm not contributing enough. I did know that I could do so much more, but I just brushed it under the carpet, all these feelings, for literally 5 years of my corporate career. And I brought myself to that doomsday. And that was the time when I said, holy shit, what have I done? And I started on this journey of self development. So until then, the self development books, I would just see them in a library, in a bookstore, and I would think, oh my God, these are for the people who have problems, and I don't have any problem. And I realized that every single one of us, we need it if we want to go to the next level in our career. So that started my journey, travel around the world, learn from the best of the best world class gurus, Tony Robbins, Brendan Bouchard, JT Fox, Russell Branson. And then I started seeing a very different Shilpa. And I said, if I could do it, and this is who I am, and if now I can fall in complete love with myself, I'm sure others can do it too. And I started holding people's hand, helping them My mission was born, murdering mediocrity, helping them quit that mediocre game and step into a life where they became unstoppable.
Right. I think very profound journey. I'm very so much so many messages I can hear from you between the lines. I think everybody today is going through this similar mediocrity mindset, right? Uh, I really want to understand from your perspective. What are the common roadblocks you think that people might have reached out to you with, and how did you help them, coming out of those roadblocks and changing their career? What were those roadblocks?
Yeah. So the roadblocks, based on what I have seen in my coaching journey, people they can be at any level. I've worked with those CXOs of 40,000 people companies, people in executive leadership, entrepreneurs, doctors, models, stage artists, different kinds of people, mostly in the corporate world. That is where my niche is, because that's where I come from. I understand that world really, really well. So what I've seen is people see glimpses of it in not having voice in the meetings that they go to, not having the charisma, not having the presence, feeling small, not feeling powerful when they step into their offices, not feeling not feeling much about themselves, their own worth when they walk into that meeting, or even when they go to a networking event. There's not much about them to say, or they cannot find the words. They fumble around the words, or some people, they're so busy. Like I was really busy, day after day, project after project, company after company. Years passed. Even when my daughters were born, I went to the office 9 to 5. This is the last day of my pregnancy. I went to office, did my work, came back at 5, made rajma rice at home, went to the hospital, had my baby in my hands through a cesarean at 9 p.m. Right. So it was busyness. So most of the people are busy. They're going on and on and on, but they're not sure where they are going. They have no destination in their GPS. The directionless, they are moving. So they get lost in the bylanes, and they're not sure where they started, where they're going, have they come far enough. But what they can see is their batchmates, their schoolmates, they have gone ahead much faster. And somewhere they are left behind. They don't know the reason, but they can see that there's a race. And they are part of the rat race without choosing, and they are left behind in that race. So there are different kinds of pain. There are people um, who have done really well in their career at some point, but right now their job has become boring. It has become mundane, or it has become too simple, or it has become too busy. But the regard and the reward, it's not proportionate to the efforts they are putting in. So I can go on and on. I've seen a lot of pain. I've seen a lot of things, and different people have got different stories. The way who you are, Ajinkya, who I am, it is because of the experiences that we had. Different people have gone through different experiences, but at this point, the same job that they loved yesterday, they are not enjoying it. They are not able to get the best out of themselves, and they know that they can do so much more.
True. I think this is something where mid-career people comes in, where they still are in the job. They used to love their job. But what about people who are entering into the corporate world? Because I think you said rightly that they are directionless. But what is it important for them to think like that? Like, how do we get a way for them to introduce this right from when they start? Like, is there anything which we can do?
Absolutely. So for the people who are entering the workforce, I would say single most thing that you should work upon is the mindset. Now, this is the word so much, it's overused, but whether you want to be an entrepreneur, whether you want to become the prime minister, president, whether you want to, get into executive leadership, you want to run a company one day, or you want to, you're just simply entering the workforce. Mindset is the key. That's where all the magic happens. I have literally seen people, I can distinguish the mindset of the people when I look at them, because people with a strong mindset, they will always find a way to keep moving. And
Hmm.
that's the strength. So if you can focus on that, get that strong, get the roots right, because you can't really plan. Like it's an interview thing where we say, what's your 5 year dream? It just doesn't happen. How many of us have actually stuck to a 5 year dream? We just make it up at the time of interview, you know, 5 years from now, I'll be this. It never happens. So those plans never happen, strategies don't happen. There's only one thing that you can take total control of, and that is your mindset. And if you've got it right, everything will fall in place.
True. I think what I understand by this is I think they still need to evaluate themselves, right? That where do they want to go? I think what people lack today is clarity of what they want initially when they start working. They have too many things. I want to do this. I want to do that. Maybe I want to try this, but they don't have a clarity, right? Is there a framework which they can start, implementing, right? It can apply to any level of employment. Is there a framework which we can talk about? Okay, when we think about mindset, what should we think? Because when we talk about mindset, it's a very vast topic, right? When we think about corporate life and employment, what should we think? Like, okay, step one, I should do this. Step two, I should do that, and things like that. Do you have any idea on that, or maybe some point?
Yeah. So there's a framework, and that framework is called action. And we all know, right? So clarity, that what you're talking about, you're talking about people who are joining the workforce. I deal with the people who have worked for 15, 20, 25 years. And at that point also they have no clarity. So what people do is that they keep sitting, waiting for clarity to come. Clarity doesn't come like that. You have seen it in your career, and I've seen it. Like, I didn't know I will be a coach. I didn't know. And when I started, when I came out of Westpac and I said no more corporate, I from what I have learned in life, I'm going to share this learnings with everyone and make them create real results in their life. Get them the double promotions and the double tripling their salaries and getting new jobs. I'll make it so easy for the people that once they learn the formula, they can implement it for themselves. They'll not be dependent on me. I I actually do not have any framework, but what I help people to get into is action mode, because that's where clarity comes. So just imagine you're standing here and it's nothing is working out. You're stuck. You've got too many thoughts in your head. You're confused. Should I go this way, that way, or this thing? All that you can do is get up from that chair and take an action, whatever makes sense to you, whatever. It may be right or it may be wrong. It doesn't matter. But what happens is when you take an action, you move one step forward or left or right. You move. And when you move, your view changes. When your view changes, you see some different things. Different inputs start coming to you. Based on that, you take another action. And then you take another action. And when you keep doing it, clarity starts coming in. It's not a one-time thing. What I want people to know, it's not a one-time thing. It's not that nirvana stage. It's not that. It's just a word on paper. But clarity is when you know, okay, next step I should take that, and then this. So high level direction, yes, it should be. You should give some time to it, and you should figure out, okay, I want to get there. But clarity is step by step. Action, clarity, action, clarity, action, clarity. That's how it comes. So I would follow that one word framework, action, to get the clarity, and even the high level direction. It just doesn't come. You have to experiment. You have to date with a lot of things. When I started my coaching journey, initially I thought I will coach teenagers. So because I have two daughters, I have raised them up, and people compliment me on my parenting style, and their friends envy us. I mean, my house is a Shah Rukh Khan house where everybody comes, hang on, hang around after school. They're cooking, they're baking, they're having chats. So people have always complimented me. I thought, okay, I'll deal with teenagers. I did that for a day. So I held a workshop, called all the friends of my daughters, friends, children, and all those people. And by the end of it, I was exhausted. I was like, no, I don't want to do this. I don't think I'm cut out for this. This is not my thing. So I dated with it, and that same day I said no. So months of my direction, it just started shaking that day. Then I thought, okay, let me do life coaching, because I think I've sorted out life. That part I've got a hang of. Started doing it, and then I realized everything that I do, my focus becomes on helping people create results in their career, in their achievements, make more money, and do things with the heart. So that brought me to career coaching, and then I incorporated it all and brought it to game changing coaching. Once I got that, my high level purpose. That's my direction. It just set, right? So you need to date different things to figure out that long term direction. But for that, action is the framework that you can use.
Right. I think, yeah, you said it right. Action. And I would rather say massive action, not just action, because we have to think about when we start, it's like so many things we want to do. And to get somewhere, I think we have to just keep trying, just keep trying. I think that's what I have been doing since long, since I've started thinking about starting helping others. I've been just putting my write ups every single day. I'm not worried about who's liking it, who's not liking it, who's looking at it, but I'm just making sure that anyone who's looked at it later can benefit out of it, right? So I want to tell you something about myself. I started my career as a nurse, but during 16 years of my transformation from a nurse, I am a technology SME today. So I have developed at different stages of my career. But I think the way you said that the more actions you take, the more you grow and the more you understand where you want to grow, right? But I think that's what I also want to talk to people about this, that whenever you are into a question mark, like what should I do? Just think about where the market requirements are, where do you want to grow, and then take one step. Maybe you'll get something else later on, and then you shift your focus, right? You dated that and you move away from that, right? So I think that's where, is there any way people should evaluate? Because I think today people are unaware that they have this problem of mediocrity, right? Is there any way for them to evaluate that? Are they, of that mindset? What should we do in that case?
Yeah. So that's a very good question, actually, because you and I, we cannot tell people that they are mediocre. It is their own judgment. We are nobody to say that you are doing well, you're not doing well, you're a mediocre or not a mediocre. So what you can do is just take out time from what you're doing, that busyness, sit back, relax, maybe go on a holiday. A solo holidays work very well. Sometimes we get too consumed with our family and we are doing stuff with them, taking care of children and all those things. So go on a solo holiday, sit down, go to the top of the mountain, sit there and think about what is it that I have achieved. And there's some amazing things about me. Am I doing really well, or can I do much better? Am I seeing myself becoming part of the average game? Am I doing the basic minimum? Am I going to office just for the sake of going there, just to get that bad paycheck? Or is my heart and soul in that? Am I enjoying the company of the people? Am I enjoying my friends? Am I doing enough for myself? Um, am I really happy at the end of it? Because ultimately, my biggest value is, yes, it is authenticity, but on the top of it, why do I want to be authentic? Why do I want to play with the hardest? Because at the end, I want to be joyful in my life. That's my ultimate state, right? So am I really joyful in life? Am I singing all along? Am I dancing? Even if you don't know dance, am I loving my moves? Those are the questions you have to ask. And if the answer is no, I can do better. No, there's so much more that I can set myself up to achieve. Yes, you are slipping into mediocrity. If your answer is I'm making the same money as what I was making 2 years back, yes, probably you're slipping into mediocrity. If your answer is when you enter the office, when you enter that meeting, when you enter that boardroom, you don't feel powerful, yes, you are on the verge of mediocrity. If you're not enjoying the job that you are doing any longer, yes, you're falling into mediocrity. So you have to first get that sense. And then the easiest thing I would say, there are different ways to do the house. And I never get into the house because it's a big term. I don't want to do disservice to the people because I'll tell them about, okay, do this, but then I know it's half set. They'll do the half thing and they'll say, Shilpa, that didn't get us the results. And I know I'm not doing justice. So how is the easiest thing to be sorted out? But first, it is your evaluation. As you said, it is for you to identify what stage of life are you really getting into mediocrity. And if yes, remember action. What is it that I can do? Can I go and join a course? Can I take help? Can I get a mentor? Can I talk to somebody at the first thing? You know, so what is it that I can do to get out of it, to snap out of it?
Right. Yeah, you said right. I mean, I think it's very important for everyone to understand that importance of mentor or a coach. Uh, what do you think? How a mentor can make an impact on someone's life? Because whenever I think I've seen people, whenever I say that you should try to find out someone who can help you within your organizations, but they feel that no, I know everything. I don't want to get to in touch with someone who is guiding me. I'm a senior level person. I know everything about my work, but they're still in that particular stage or a position for 4 to 5 years, no growth, but they are happy. They're getting the paycheck. No worry about goals. They just enter the goals in the start of the year, and they forget about the goal. As soon as the performance appraisal comes, they just fill something random, and then they just give the performance appraisal review feedback. You must be aware of the review cycles and all that. So mentor, how much of an importance a mentor plays in a role for someone to grow in their career?
So definitely mentors. So they're different things. Coaches and mentors, very different people. So coaches are from the same industry. They help you. They've got their day jobs. They can help you connect with the people and give you some, so whenever you meet, they can give you some great momentum in your field. But on the other hand, a coach is somebody who's dedicated to you. They're as committed to you, probably more than you towards your goals. That's what a coach is. When I work with the people, I put everything that I have on stage to get them the results because I'm committed. So that's a difference. And you need both at different points in your life, mentor as well as coach. Right now, if people are happy, if they're getting the paycheck, I would say, well, if you're happy, if that's the life that you don't feel a need, don't go for it because it will not work for you. We cannot really push people to find coaches and mentors and do that unless they feel the need. It has to be a self decision. So if it is serving you well, whatever you are doing, fine, stick to it. If you feel that is not serving you well, you can do more. You're slipping into mediocrity. Then what do you do? Coaches can cut short. And I'm not so much in the favor of mentor. I think mentor you should have, but it is never a game changer. It is good, but if you feel that you can do so much more, go and find the coach. It need not be, whoever you find it, whoever you align with, just go to that person because that person can cut short your journey by 10 times. I wouldn't be here if not for my coaches. And I have got a mindset coach, I've got a business coach, I've got a voice coach, all the different kinds of coaches. I immerse myself, I pamper. That is my way of pampering myself. So why I'm mentioning this is because I practice what I preach. Coaches, why why is it that not every player has got a coach? Because it is only for Olympians. So if you
Yeah.
just want to be a player, fine. If you want to be an Olympian, you need to have a coach. So I coach people. I have my own coach. My husband has got his own coach. My daughters, both daughters have got, and they've got the best coaches from the world. And I think that should speak for itself.
And that makes sense actually. um, Something about your book, I wanted to people understand about what was your thought process when you wrote that book, and what people should understand by this book. Maybe we can talk about a little snippet about your book and how it can, when people start reading it, what they can expect and how they can feel transformed when they when they read your book.
Sure. So what happens when we start in our career? Um, Career is the most important thing for us. Our job, what we are achieving in that, the results that we are creating. And we commit ourselves 100% to it. So you remember those bachelors, those spinsters, and we would often joke, they would not go home at all. And we're like, what are these people doing? Spoiling the culture. They're hanging around till the night, maybe midnight, and they're working and all that because that's all they can see. They commit themselves to it. And it does create some great results. But what happens is after a while, you realize that somewhere in this race, you've left your family behind. So you go back all the way to, to join your family. And while you start calling your parents more, you start visiting home more, you start going on vacations. And when you do that, you realize that you do not have the same energy that used to be there years back, maybe 10, 15 years back. Um, So somewhere in this journey, not only have you ignored the relationship, but also your health. So you need to, life, the game changing thing that I keep talking about, it is about a triangle. So a life is a triangle. One side, it is the achievements, it is the role or the designation that we have, it is the money that we make, the results that we create, the big things that we get in our career. The other arm of the triangle, it is your relationship. Firstly, it's with yourself, then it is with your family, the community, and the world. Aham dharma, kul dharma, jati dharma, manav dharma. That's where it comes. Really important. The third arm of the triangle, it's your health, physical, emotional, mental health. If any part of the triangle is not taken care of, it will collapse. Let's say you're working on your achievements quite a lot, you're achieving great things, but your family, your home is burning, it will collapse. If you're achieving too much, if I mean your relationships are all sorted out, but you're not doing anything in your achievements, which was the case with me, collapsed, right? So you have to take care of all the three arms, and that triangle has to become bigger and bigger and bigger, and that is called playing it full across all the three core elements of life, which is around which this book is built. And it contains real life examples from, so me and my husband couple, both of us wrote that book. And it is coming from our own life journey, what we have seen during, growing up, getting married, and uh, growing our children, being in a typical corporate IT jobs. What did
Right.
it bring? What are the kinds of promotions we have done, and how we have seen people stuck? How we have changed life. It talks about all of it, and basically, it is to help people murder their mediocrity and start playing it full in life.
Right. I think what when you talk about promotion, everybody wants promotion in their workplace, right? But I don't know what's their mentality in terms of uh, lack in guidance, or I don't know what they are lacking. But they think that I worked for an organization where it was a tenure based promotions. So if you're 2 years in your designation, you're eligible for a promotion, and then they build a case that you should be promoted now. And I was into that one situation where I was promoted, but I was not sure what I need to do, right? And when people in normal corporate world think about promotion, what is one thing they should focus on that they get more like an acing at performance, acing their performance at workplace? Like, what are the building blocks of people they should start implementing, that they should be a high performer in a team, in an individual, and how they can achieve promotion? Like, what are the pillars of success?
So for the promotion, and I really appreciate that you mentioned that in that organization it used to be time-based promotion. Every 2 years or 3 years you get promoted. That spoils us, totally spoils
Exactly.
us. We get promoted however we are doing, and we lose the mojo. So I do believe that we should get promoted based on our caliber. And what can we do? Uh, First step is going above and beyond. If you can get that into your system, if you can go above and beyond in whatever you do, it is really, really, I would say you will outshine, you will stand apart, because 99% of the people don't do that. They just do what is expected, which is what I was doing, right? So and we expect promotions. How will we get promotion if we are just doing what is expected? You have to go above and beyond. You have to, and it's not about the big ideas. A lot of people think, oh no, that will be too much. No, it's about the little things where you see the gaps and you fill it. You start developing an eye for it, and so it's about going and beyond. That's the first thing. Secondly, when your promotion discussion is happening, you never get an opportunity to be in that door where the decision is being taken. You never
True.
get an opportunity. It's people decide. In fact, the best decisions of our career are taken when you are not in our room, in that room. So you have to find a way to be there without actually being present. How? By having your branding, having your visibility, having your sponsors sit in the chair and speak for you, right? So the second thing is you have to be visible. You have to be visible. not like because of the promotion. It's because you don't need to hide. Don't need to hide. Um, I've always been an introvert, and I thought introversion was the way. Introversion was my excuse to sit in that corner of every floor, every company that I worked for. I kept sitting there. I kept working in silo. I was a solo worker, and whatever people who didn't want to do work on in the team, they will give it to me, and I didn't know how to say no, and I would keep doing it, and slowly that work stopped mattering, and the company said, Shilpa, we don't need you, go away, right? So this is what happened. So you need to be visible so that you can attract the best quality of work, and in that best quality of work you can go above and beyond. I remember, because there have been different times in my life. I have really screwed it up in the last 5 years of my corporate career, but before that, I got outstanding ratings like one after the other. I have always, seen the extremes. So those times, like I remember once I had got an outstanding rating and I got promoted, and this email comes around in Westpac that they're doing this project called Work Smart, a high profile project, and they're looking for people with outstanding ratings. Irrespective of their designation of area, they're looking for some really great people so that they can have the cream of those people work for that high profile project. And I was handpicked for that project. um, so you will get an opportunity to work on the best quality of things only when you're visible, only
Hmm.
when you have a brand, and your brand is being built whether you know it, whether you like it or not. It is being built. When I was working in the corner, people formed a perception about me that Shilpa, she doesn't want much work. They
Hmm.
formed a perception about me that she wants to be left alone.
Hmm.
They developed a perception about me that I don't want to be part of those team lunches and the Friday drinks and all those things. I didn't say that. They formed the perception. My mistake was I didn't do anything to control that perception. And I know truly well now, I've worked with enough people at senior level, executive level, to know that you have all the right to control that perception that people have about you,
Hmm.
right? So be visible, invest in your brand, in getting that perception in your control. Because what if you don't like the perception? What if it comes to, bite you in your face? So
Makes
those
sense.
are the two things. And the other thing that I would also want to say is expression. Work on your expression. There's a difference. I was talking to this person, uh, this morning itself, and this person was saying, I'm very good at my work, but when I talk to the clients, they feel that I'm a junior person. Somewhere the transactional things come into my interaction with the people. I'm
Hmm.
unable to think big, strategic. So this is something which a lot of us feel. Well, develop a powerful expression. Use the right words. You know, feel feel great about yourself, because unless you feel great about yourself, nobody else, you're not going to pass on those vibes. And in the process of feeling great about yourself, you have to walk a journey which involves mindset, which involves clarity, which involves action, expression, a lot of those things. So
Right.
take care of that.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to ask you about is like the way you said that when you enter a discussion of your promotion, or maybe I'll tell about my example or experience. Whenever I went for my one-on-one discussion and my appraisals, it was told to me that, okay, Ajinkya, this is your ratings and this much of a salary hike you've received. Earlier, your package was this, now it is this. And I was like, okay. And I came back. Now, when I realized, when you said that no, you have to create visibility. If I think if I had visibility, I could have said no. Why this is like this? I have done like this. So I think people also lack a lot of communication skills in terms of how they want to portray themselves as a team member. What do you think about it? Like, how should they, develop this communication skills? Because I think sometimes over communication is also important. Sometimes right communication at the right time is also important. What do you think? What's your point of view on the communication skills at workplace?
Definitely. And that's what I meant when I said expression. I
Okay.
see
Okay.
most of the people, They do not have that expression where they can speak openly, even speaking heart to heart with the boss. We don't do it because somehow we have got limits in our head. And that expression before you go and start speaking to me, it is not about speaking just the right words. It's not about being an orator. No, it's not about that, right? I have realized, being an introvert, I realized what came in my way was, what if I make a mistake? What if I, you know, say something that I'm not supposed to? And I realized that I don't need to be the best speaker in the country, or even in my city. No, that's not what I need to be. I just need to be able to speak my mind. That's it, right? So to be able to speak my mind, to have that expression, that power in it, I need to have first the conviction in myself that I deserve that, right?
Right.
That's where your assessment. So everything, you see how it is linked. That's your assessment about, am I really there? Or are there some blind spots? Is there something that I have not seen that others are seeing, but I don't know, right? So you need to figure that out. And once you have the conviction, you see that in everything. When you walk to that coffee machine, when you're
Mm.
having coffee there, when you are walking to that meeting, when you are having a conversation with your boss, with your boss's boss, boss's boss, you will see that conviction. So visibility, it cannot be created as such. It's not a, what do I say? It's not a strategy. It just happens. If you have a conviction, you'll form an expression. When you form an expression, you'll start coming out in the open. You'll stop hiding. And when you are out there in the open, more people see you, more opportunities walk to you. You go above and beyond, you get promoted. Simple, whatever you say, frameworks, step to step, step by step thing. But that's the whole method to the madness.
Great. I think, yeah, this is something very important everyone should understand. Anything you think people should start implementing? Like, for example, if they're watching this video maybe later and they think that, okay, one thing or maybe a step which Shilpa has told us to implement, and let's try and implement it and see how I can change my career. What would you recommend others or people who are into this mediocrity lifestyle? What would you recommend that you do this thing and try this thing and then see how the career changes, right? What would you recommend?
Yeah. So I have seen in my experience that in a very short period of time, like 6 to 8 weeks or something, people just get they just get promoted. People who were stuck there for 5 years, for 9 years. So there was
Hmm.
someone who was stuck at the director level position for 9 years, and he was able to get out of that and get to the VP level in just 2.5 months. And there's one thing that I would say to get started: leverage LinkedIn. I'm being very specific in that because I can say go above and beyond and this and that, which I do believe, but I know then people will be, what do I do to go above and beyond? So I'm telling a very simple thing: leverage LinkedIn. It's a gold mine that we all are sitting on, especially people in the corporate world. It's free, and if you can use it in the right manner, not sitting on it all day, but if you can start sharing your thoughts, initially it will require a little bit of effort because you have not done it, but if you can start sharing it little by little by little, you can put yourself out there. That's where you start becoming visible. And when that starts happening, there's no way you cannot catch up with it in your real life, right? You
Hmm.
cannot be a different person in the virtual world and not be that person in the real world, because people, when they meet, they will see the misalignment, right? So as you walk the journey on LinkedIn, you start keeping up with it in your real life. Now, I know some people say you do it in the real life and then you do. I'm saying the other way because I'm speaking especially to the introverts out here
Hmm.
who miss the opportunities, who stay invisible, and those people who are doing great work, but they feel that they are not rewarded enough. Leverage that LinkedIn, because when you do that, today when I walk into even networking events or total stranger lands, wherever I go, people just get up and say, "Oh, Shilpa, we know you, so we follow you on LinkedIn." And I didn't do anything to create that, but because I am consistently doing something in the real world. Those baby actions I'm taking every single day, that
Mm.
goes and meets my physical presence. And when your virtual presence meets your physical presence, and people say, yes, she's the same person whom we see, whom we have been following for the past 3 years. She's exactly that person in the real life. A bond establishes, a relationship establishes, and that's where your game starts changing, because you have to take online offline. Opportunities come offline. That's how my clients are able to get jobs, in like they're forklifted from LinkedIn for the jobs walk to them. So online, bring it offline, and you know opportunities come, and you'll be able to see yourself in a very different place very soon. So do not do the mistake of not leveraging LinkedIn. It's the easiest way for you to cut short your journey to where you want it.
So maybe let me reiterate that you're suggesting that if we want to start, changing our career, we should first leverage LinkedIn as one of the resources where we start putting our thoughts every day and start creating our visibility, where people will look at it, and then if they think that we are eligible for a specific task or a work or a job, they will reach out to us, and then that's how we will build our career, or that's how we will grow. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. And there's one more thing, as you mentioned, that it is important for us to know who are our audience on LinkedIn. If you're looking for a job, your audiences are different. If you're looking for a promotion, your audiences are different. If you're looking to step into executive leadership, your audiences are different. If you're looking to become an entrepreneur, your audiences are different. If you have a short-term objective of finding a job first new job, and then becoming creating a side hustle, your audiences are different. Firstly, you need to understand who are my audiences, and your shares would be based keeping those audiences in mind, because that's where the opportunity walks to you, because you're speaking directly to your audience.
So you're recommending that we would first find our audience and then reach out to them as like a connection, and then build our community or build our connections that way, because our target audience is somewhere where we want to make sure that our efforts which we put on LinkedIn is visible to them, right? That's what we are recommending.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so if I'm looking for a promotion, I would go to LinkedIn, search for people only, right? And then start sending them connection and build a community or build a connection network such a way that whenever I put something on LinkedIn, people are looking at it, they will understand, okay, Ajinkya is someone who is talking about this. If
Yes.
you if I want some information, I can reach out to Ajinkya. That's how you're recommending, right?
Absolutely. You can become experts. It literally takes 12 updates for you to completely change the perception that people have about you. Right? Now, that perception cannot be wrong. You cannot fake it, because if you fake it, you will fall flat on your face. So
Right.
it has to be based on total authenticity, total honesty. You don't need to act to be somebody that you are not. Like me and my husband, both of us are executive coaches. We help people in their career get to the next level, but he's an extrovert. He's a complete extrovert. So, and I'm a total introvert. So if you ask me to share something, my natural tendency will be to write, 5 minutes, I write a post. For those people who follow me on LinkedIn, they see it every day, right?
Yeah.
I, I put my heart, soul, emotions, everything. I sometimes cry when I put stories of people, you know, and people can see it in my post, because I
Yeah.
just put myself out there. For him, if I ask him to share, he'll just take his phone and he will record something, and 30 seconds it's done. That's his natural thing. But he's talking to his audience. I'm talking to my audience. So it is really important for us to put ourselves out there as who we are. Remember who you are. So no faking, and based on your goal, who are your audience? Speak to them. You cannot be everything to everybody. Right? So pick and choose your battles.
So for example, if I am a software engineer, I should only talk about something which I'm expert in, and I should be distributing that particular knowledge or whatever I have gained, whatever I have learned. I should start putting up in my thoughts and start putting up on LinkedIn. People will start looking at it, and if they want to reach out to me, they'll reach out to me. That's how I'm pulling my career or my growth, right?
Absolutely. And so I would just make a change, not what I'm an expert on what I want to be an expert on, because you always
Okay.
work on the next level, right?
Okay.
So sometimes you limit yourself saying, okay, this is what I know. I'll say, yes, where you want to be, you start operating at that level in your mind, right? That's where you're expanding your horizon, your mind, your own limits. And that's where, you're transitioning between where I am and where I want to be. Real life also goes side by side with it, right? So
Right.
that's what, and it's not always the technical things only. Talk about yourself, talk about life, talk about what you've observed, because there are learnings everywhere, but it should all synchronize together and give message to the audiences that you have chosen.
Right. So talking about audience, you have a workshop planned for everyone, right? Can you just explain a little bit about what is in your workshop, what people can expect in your workshop, so that people, whenever they watch this, they'll reach out to you if they are interested to know more about it. So a little, I would rather say an agenda of a workshop, what exactly you do, how, what people, what mindset people enter, and what people take away from your workshop.
Yeah. So what my so there's a difference between workshops and the programs that I do. So
Hmm.
the workshops that I do, or the sessions that I do, it that is to show people the possibilities. You know, the problem is most of us don't even know our possibility. As I always keep referring back to my life, the Shilpa who was sitting in a corner of some office. I work for some really great companies, Deloitte, Tech Mahindra, Westpac, startups. Shilpa was sitting there. She could have never imagined that she could be here. This Shilpa cannot imagine where she would be in the next 2 years. So we don't know our own possibility. We stay stuck where we are. Now that's not how I want them to do. I want them to see who can they be, more than just being just being a director at their workplace, or more than being a mom or a dad, or a wife, or whatever they are. So I want them to look beyond and see their own possibilities, and for that I talk about stories all the time. I do believe that we human beings, we belong to the caveman era still, even after so many years, where we would put that bonfire and we'll sit around the fire and exchange stories about
Right.
what has happened, our experiences. So this is basically what I do for the people that I have worked with, how they started and where they reached their journey, because I know that's from where connections happen. People see things which touches their heart or which appeals to their mind, and then that's where they get that light bulb moment. Okay, if if he can do it, or if she can do it, I can do. So that's basically what happens in my workshop. Possibilities. People see the possibilities, and in
Hmm.
my programs, I work with them based on where they stand and where they want to be, to help them remove their blockers and to get there in the shortest possible period of time. Whether it is getting a promotion, out of turn promotion, people get that all the time. Whether it is about doubling their salary, people have got anywhere from 53%, you got 53%, and then he got 150%. So anywhere between 53% to tripling their salaries. Uh, people people getting visibility, TED talks have walked to the people. What else? Getting total euphoria in their career, moving from an individual contributor role to a management role. From a management role, people have gone to technical roles because that's what they wanted. So different kinds of things. But at the end of it, I want people to be in their careers of euphoria and totally live life to the best every minute, and that's what my game changing programming.
So one quick question about, I have a question about your program. So uh, in your program, there could be different people or different genre of people or thought process of people would come. How would you spend time in terms of making sure that each of the person gets the right kind of guidance or a coaching? Because I might want to be a manager, or someone else might want to be a team lead, or some other person might want to be a CTO, right? So everyone has their different goals, everyone has their different target desired state. So how do you manage in terms of what is your game plan in terms of reaching out to everyone at the same time with their desired expectations?
Yeah. So one thing is, I don't believe in the cookie cutter approach. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And I've done enough programs in the world to know that if I give somebody a program and I say, okay, do it and get the result, they are not gonna get it. They won't. So they need, and that's the reason why I don't outsource my programs to this thing, because there's a certain benefit in working with me because I commit myself to that person, the result. It doesn't matter if there are people in my program who've got different goals, it doesn't matter. All I need from them is their hunger.
Hmm.
If they're hungry to get there, if they trust the process, they get there, right? It doesn't matter. So if you're part of inner circles, if you're part of masterminds, Russell Branson, the top names, Tony Robbins and all, there are people who are billionaires, right? But everybody does a very different thing. Everybody has a very different goal. But
Right.
how do they get to the results? Because of the hunger. So all I need from the people is their hunger and their commitment to their action. And I hold their hands and get them from where they are to where they want to. That's it. It doesn't matter if the goals are different. In fact, no two people that I've worked with are the same. No two
Yeah.
people I've worked with have got the similar goals. So Mona, I met her on the weekend. I was telling you about my husband's 50th. So she came to me as a business analyst, 4 years, 22 months back. She came to me, total stranger on LinkedIn, just sent me a message, got talking, signed up for the program. And her thing was, I'm a new mom, and people don't give me opportunity to this thing is very toxic, and things are not happening. I'm not being given the giving any of the responsibility at the next level. In a month of doing my program, she went to the next level.
Wow.
In a month, she got promoted, and in 22 months, she went up by 3 levels. Can you
Wow.
imagine? Levels up. And the
Amazing.
last job which she got in uh, July, she started this job on 4th of July, 17th of August. She gave birth to a baby boy. So she got this job and she was 7 months pregnant. She
Wow.
walked into the office and not only dropped the interview but negotiated a much higher salary. And now she's working as the head of managed services APAC. So
Wow.
gone up by 4 levels. So no two stories are different. No two stories are the same. Read you another story. He was my colleague in Westpac, and you've seen those people who will always second guess themselves, who are always, you know, scared of making mistakes and all those things. He was like that, and he's an awesome guy from the best IIT, great education background, great family, but somehow life had pushed him to that kind of a space. And when he started working on himself, amazing guy. Like these are superstars that I'm talking about.
Hmm.
He just he was forklifted from LinkedIn first for a job at 53%, and
Hmm.
later 1 month back when his contract finished, he walks into another job for the position of a test manager. Came out with the position of a program test manager because the project director starts talking about the posts that he shares on LinkedIn, the articles that he had written, a small ebook that I had asked him to write. So he starts talking about it, and the interview takes a different direction. He rocks it, comes out with a higher position, and now is making 150% more than what he was making. So very different stories, very different people, but I think it's the hunger, it's the keenness, it's saying no more of mediocrity. No,
Yeah.
now's the time to murder the mediocrity. That's all I want from the people, and they can
Right.
get it.
Cool. I think this was really insightful, Shilpa, and I think I really want to thank you for giving your time today. I'm sure people who will watch this in future will get a lot of information and insights. I also want everyone to buy your book, so I will share your book link whenever I'm uploading this on YouTube. And any last words before we conclude the call? Anything you want to tell everyone?
Last words I would say, you know, making it happen. That's an attitude I see most of the people, be given to the constraints more than looking at our possibilities. Always look at the possibility. Constraints will always be there. It is not about the resources. It is about how resourceful can we get around the thing. So if you can get into this habit of never facing a brick wall, no matter what life brings in front of me, I will never face a brick wall. I'll make it happen. Get into that attitude. Step into that persona, and whatever you want, it will walk into your life.
Makes sense. Thank you for your time today, Shilpa, and I really appreciate you giving a lot of information today. And I'll definitely make sure that I schedule some more time with you to understand more about your program. Today we talked about a little bit generic discussion, but I want to know more about program. I want people to know more about your program, so I'll set up some more time with you. But thanks for joining the call today, and I'll take your leave today. And you have a great day ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. And thanks everyone for listening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye.